Hello everyone, welcome to the program. I'm Joke Rogers here in Lagos. We begin in South Africa today, where Human Rights Commission, in collaboration with the National Department of Health, is calling on the public to refrain from obstructing access to public health care services. This follows growing concerns over actions by the anti-migrant group Operation Dudula, which has made headlines for conducting raids on hijacked buildings and allegedly preventing undocumented migrants from accessing healthcare in some areas of the country. Hey, Nigeria Foreign Affairs Minister Yusuf Tuga says Nigeria will not cave in to pressure from the Trump administration in the United States to accept Venezuelan deportees from the country. Mr. Tuga, who was a guest on Channel Television's Politics Today program on Thursday, said Nigeria has enough challenges of its own and won't be a dumping ground for Venezuelan prisoners deported from the United States amid U.S. President Donald Trump's crackdown on undocumented migrants. Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu joined other world leaders to attend the BRICS summit in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, from July 6 to 7, 2025. On the final day of the summit held by the 11-member economic and political force with Chinese influence, U.S. President Donald Trump announced his decision to hit anti-American BRICS nations, including China, India, and Nigeria, with an extra 10% trade tariff. Nigeria's Foreign Affairs Minister also said the tariff hike threat might not have to do with Nigeria's participation in the BRICS summit.
Do you have fears that we might suffer any kind of sanction from America because of these our relation?
No, I don't. And if we do, it would be most unfortunate because we are looking to do deals with the U.S. President Trump has always emphasized the need to do deals and do deals with African countries, Asian countries, and Nigeria stands in a very good position to continue its symbiotic relationship with the U.S. We possess a lot of critical minerals, not just lithium, but we also possess rare earths. There's something called samarium that you get from monazite, for instance. Samarium is used to produce very powerful metals that are used in missiles and missile systems, for instance. And when we talk about BRICS, let's not forget that these BRICS members, the initial BRICS members, these are the same countries that are in the G20. Brazil is a member of the G20. Okay, Russia is a member of the G20. India is a member of the G20. China is a member of the G20.
But BRICS minister is supposed to be a competition to the
the US is equally. No, it's not. That's where people get it wrong.
It's supposed to be an economic competition to these organizations.
They participate in both because there are two different things. And it doesn't stop them from doing business with the US. It doesn't stop them from being partners with the US in G20. The issue of tariffs may not necessarily have to do with us participating in BRICS. You have to also bear in mind that the US is mounting considerable pressure on African countries to accept Venezuelans to be deported from the US, some straight out of prison. It will be difficult for a country like Nigeria to accept Venezuelan prisoners into Nigeria. We have, in the famous words of, I don't know if you know the US rap group called Public Enemy. If you do, then you'll remember a line from Flavor Flav, a member of the group, who said, Flavor Flav has problems of his own. I can't do nothing for you, man. We have enough problems of our own. We cannot accept Venezuelan deportees to Nigeria, for crying out loud. We already have 230 million people.
And we're back in South Africa, where Johannesburg Metropolitan Police Department has intensified efforts to enforce city bylaws in Alexandra Township. Officers recently targeted street hawkers operating in unauthorized areas, confiscating goods as part of their ongoing operation. Sidewalks and pavements in the area are often obstructed by informal traders, posing challenges for pedestrian movement. This marks the fourth consecutive week of the JMPD's crackdown in the township. For more on these developing stories and one of our top stories, which is the healthcare situation in South Africa, we're joined by our Johannesburg correspondent, that's Innocent Semosa. Innocent, a pleasure having you on the program again today.
Well, greetings to you, colleague, and our viewers at home.
Right, so Innocent, let's start with the blockage of access to health services. What's the latest on the situation?
Yeah, indeed, colleague. It does seem as though foreign nationals are at the center.
Hello, everyone. Welcome
of
to the
this
program.
debate.
I'm Joke Rogers here in Lagos. We begin in South Africa today, where Human Rights Commission, in collaboration with the National Department of Health, is calling on the public to refrain from obstructing access to public health care services. Right, Innocent, apologies for that. If you can hear me, I started, by asking you about the blockage of access to health services and the latest situation in the country.
Yeah, indeed. A very good evening to you, colleague, and our viewers at home. Yeah, I couldn't hear you correctly there. But indeed, it does seem as though the issues around foreign nationals is again trending, is making headlines. It's at the center of debates here in the country. As you rightly alluded to in your intro, this, of course, comes at the back of the anti-migrant movement, Operation Dudula. They are currently blocking migrants from receiving medical attention in different hospitals in and around Johannesburg and also parts of KwaZulu-Natal province. But we do know, colleague, that the South African Human Rights Commission have condemned the act of Operation Dudula. But of course, I commend them for coming out like this, because Operation Dudula has no right in stopping people from accessing, medical attention. I guess the issues that we're facing here in the country is around resource management when it comes to the issues that has to do with health in the country. It has got nothing to do with the burden that people are purporting. But also, the police have warned against people who are, joining Operation Dudula in stopping people from, accessing medical attention. So they are monitoring the situation as it stands, and we do know that the president will be speaking on Sunday to address the nation. I would imagine that this will be part of the agenda. Joke.
Right, and can you take us through, what the Constitution says about the right to healthcare and whether there's a perception that foreign nationals are placing a strain on the system that's already, almost overburdened, I must think.
Indeed, Joke, I'm glad that you're bringing the issues of the Constitution, which is a roadmap. In fact, when we go to Section 27 of the Constitution, it's explicitly indicate that anyone in the country has got the right to education and health. It does not say when they're illegal or legal in the country. So those are the issues that we need to underline, but not forgetting that, of course, these people come to the country illegally. But the Constitution says when they're here, they are eligible to basically receive medical attention in the country. But also, when you look at the stats, Joke, around 4% of migrants are using public healthcare, and you look at around 84,000, 84% is using, which are South Africans, they are using public health care, which then begs the question, why are they saying the system is overburdened by foreigners? And I'm asking this because here in Gauteng, the Department of Education, the Department of Health, has turned back monies to the Treasury. This money was supposed to deal with the backlog of cancer treatment in the province. So that money was turned back to Treasury. When you say that it's overburdened the system, what are they talking about? Those are the questions that I'm asking myself. Hence, I came with this idea that I think it's the issues around resource management. And also, Joke, just before I give it back to you, it took them 5 years to basically refurbish or build Charlotte Maxeke. You would recall that the hospital was engulfed in fire a few years ago. So even now, they still can't wrap up the investigation. So for me, it does seem as though there's governance issues when it comes to the issues that has to do with health in the country. Joke.
And, what's the perception of the people on ground? What are they saying? And is there a proposed solution to this growing tension?
Yeah, in fact, many people are blaming the African National Congress. They are saying that the ANC is the one that is supporting liberation movements in the SADC region. So hence, um, um, uh, people leave their home countries to come to South Africa looking for greener pastures. But also some, Joke, are saying that there's a need for the region to calibrate some sort of a multilateral funding, whereby these governments can be, in touch in terms of, how do we meet each other halfway? They can say, because we're treating your citizens here in the country, how do we meet each other halfway? Where do we go from here? Because the truth is that you can't stop people from coming into the country. Even the biggest economy in the world, that is America, still struggles with the issues of borders with Mexico. So South Africa is a developing country. It's going to be difficult for us to stop people from coming into the country. The idea here is that the SADC region, the presidents in the SADC region, must calibrate a mechanism that speaks to the issues of health, issues of education, and issues of security in the region. Joke.
Just before I let you go, give us a brief on the bylaw enforcement against unauthorized traders.
Yeah, indeed. The police, JMPD, was out and about. In fact, the whole week they've been busy raiding people, removing people on the street. And I guess also, Joke, it speaks to the constitution and the laws that we have that needs to be revisited, because we're living in a very challenging economic times and people are trying to trade, and you remove them on the street where they're trading. And also where police who are corrupt, Joke, who will take people's stuff and go and resell those products, which I think is very much unfair. I think also that's the issue that needs to be revisited. But of course, they've been warning people, telling them where they can sell. But it's challenging because there is no economic zone, a place where it's an economic zone where they can actually put them so they can trade there. That's another challenge. But I guess it's another challenge that maybe the legislature needs to pass laws, take it to parliament so that it can be amended, so that people can be able to trade peacefully. Joke.
Innocent, thanks again for your time.
Thank you so much, colleague.
African countries signing the African Nuclear Weapon Free Zone Treaty, known as the Pelindaba Treaty in 1996, has helped make the world a safer place, given the threats of nuclear weapons use in recent times. This was propagated by the Executive Secretary of the Nuclear Test Ban Treaty Organization, Dr. Robert Floyd, during his public lecture at the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs in Lagos. The lecture was titled "The Comprehensive Nuclear Ban Treaty as a Model of Multilateral Success," what it means for Africa today and tomorrow. Dr. Floyd says it will continue to be in Africa's interest to see the elimination of nuclear weapons, but that Africa should continue to pursue nuclear development for peaceful purposes.
The number of states that have signed the CTBT is 52 out of the 54. The number that are ratified is 50 out of the 54. So the African states are actually more in the CTBT than even the Treaty of Palindaba, which they absolutely love and is in the heart of Africa. So I think it's a good question for you as a part of Africa to think, why is non-proliferation and disarmament so important to you? Because as a continent, it's a strong message. And diplomatically in Vienna, the Africa group of ambassadors, they make a strong presence, and they are calling for other states, for the highest of standards and the highest of compliance. So today and tomorrow, I think it will continue to be in Africa's interest to see ultimately the elimination of nuclear weapons. And one step to get to that point is to see a ban on testing, but then to back that up with a verification system which allows you to know if anyone is cheating. That is absolutely in the interest of Africa. Africa should have access to nuclear energy for health purposes, for radiopharmaceutical production, for nuclear energy generation, all of these things. Africa should never be deprived of those things. And the nuclear architecture, particularly the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, allows and even facilitates that to take place. Africa should not be left behind, and that is our commitment.
Well, ahead of the July 12 local government elections in Lagos State, the Commissioner of Police, Olorundare Jimoh, has warned all officers and men to be deployed for the exercise to play by the standard operational guidelines. Addressing area commanders, divisional police officers and tactical commanders after the show of readiness exercise across the state, Mr. Jimoh explained that the police and other security and safety officers in the state are ready for Saturday's local polls.
The Lagos State Police Command Headquarters, Ikeja, the rallying point for all security and safety agencies in Lagos. They gather for the takeoff of the show of strength exercise in readiness for the local government elections across the state.
We are fully ready for the election issue.
This joint briefing is important. The Commissioner of Police takes them through the rules of engagement for the elections.
I led what we call the show of force exercise, comprising the police, the military, and the other security and safety agency to patrol the nook and cranny of the state. And this is a form of confidence building for the people to be fully assured that they are safe to come out and exercise their franchise. So the restriction of vehicular movement will start by 6 a.m. and it will end by 3 p.m. when the voting will have ended.
That done, they hit the length and breadth of the city with a message for all to shun violence before, during, and after the polls. At another engagement also in Ikeja, the state police boss addresses area commanders, divisional police officers and tactical commanders to play by the rules.
The role of the Nigerian police force in securing the electoral process encompasses a wide range of activities, which includes ensuring the safety and security of all persons and property, including equipment, electoral materials, such as forms, resource sheets, that are being utilized for the process. We are to ensure that this protection is extended to period before, during, and after the voting exercise without any bias. We are also to ensure strict compliance and enforcement of the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Electoral Act, the Police Act 2020, the Criminal Code, the Penal Code, and Violence Against Person Prohibition and other requisite law.
All eligible electorates will vote in 13,325 polling units. Mr. Jimo adds that an additional 8,000 police personnel from other southwest states are expected to join those in Lagos. All is now set for the police to live up to expectation on D-Day.
Well, more than 40 Malian soldiers have been killed in one of the country's military bases taken over in early June 2025 during a major attack by an al-Qaeda-linked group, Jamaat Nusrat ul-Islam wal Muslimin, on the town of Buli Kessi. Reports say the same group launched an attack on the historic city of Timbuktu. The Malian army claimed it repelled the Timbuktu attack and killed 14 terrorists at that time. About 40% of the country is under the control of groups linked to Al-Qaeda and Islamic State. Military bases of the country have also been targeted and some taken over. Well, let's get more on this. Joining us on the program is our Sahel correspondent, Mo Sani Aliyu. Mo, great to see you today.
Thank you for having me, Joke.
Right, so what can you tell us about the attacks and the JNIM and why it's stepping up attacks in Western Mali at this time?
Okay, first thing we need to know is that this JNIM is an amalgamation of two terror groups, one from North Africa and the other from West Africa. They have banded together and they are causing a lot of havoc, especially in northern Mali. Now, what is of note here is that the group, JNIM, is now moving westwards towards the Senegalese border. It has attacked three central cities of Kayes, Nioro du Sahel, and Diboli near the Senegalese border, killing, well, let's say between the month of May, last week of May 2025 and July 2025, they have been able to attack very important military bases and reportedly have killed over 160 Malian soldiers. Of course, the Malians have also said that they have taken some reverse attacks on them, killing about 22 of them. But one other thing of note is that even the Wagner mercenaries, the Russian Wagner mercenaries, have been taken hostage, some of them killed. The area has now become no man's land. And as you said in the introduction, about 40% of Mali is under the insurgents' control. That is the situation right now.
And between May and July this year, JNIM has attacked Malian military bases and killing dozens of soldiers. What do you think is the reason for the military's seeming inability to contain these attacks, even though it says it repelled some and actually neutralized some of these terrorists?
Well, you do not need a soothsayer to tell you what is happening. Mali had always relied on the French forces, the French troops that had been stationed in the northern part of the country. If you remember, around 2023, the French soldiers or the French were asked to leave Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. They have done so, and even the UN peacekeepers that had been there have been asked to leave. The only, which has created a vacuum of a sort, the people that have taken over, the military, Malian military that has taken over is unable to cover such a large country. That region is the size of Nigeria. That region we're talking about, northern and western Mali. And we are also talking about the mercenaries that have been brought in by Russia, just a couple of thousands of them. They are not enough virtually to cover such a large, massive area, such as the northern part and western part of Mali. This is a very dire situation. We're not even talking about the issue of a humanitarian crisis that has been ongoing. Kids have not been going to school over there. Economic activities are non-existent. Travelers can't pass through that area to go to neighboring countries like Algeria or Senegal or Mauritania. Place has become no man's land virtually.
Right. Mo, thank you again for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
And just before we wrap up the program for the week, the 22nd edition of the International Morocco of Tales Festival is underway in Rabat, featuring storytellers and artists from around the world under the slogan, "Your story is water, tell it to quench." Footage currently displaying on your screen shows performers presenting theatrical and musical acts in traditional costumes before a diverse audience representing various cultures and countries. Festival director Najima Taitai states that bringing together storytellers from across the world's continents reflects that spoken word holds power and authority as it helps unite people, connecting North and South and also East and West. That's Network Africa. Thank you for watching. I'm Joke Rogers.